Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is March 7th, 2018, and today is Wednesday morning. So looking at the economic events of the day, starting out at 3:15 South African time, ADP Non-Farm employment numbers coming out. Now this precedes non-farm payroll for this Friday, so just be aware of it that it's coming out. ADP is one of the largest payment processing companies in the United States, so this number is kind of important and usually sets the tone for Friday, so just be aware of it that it is coming out later today. And then at 3:30 South African time from Canadian dollar trade balance, and that's going to be overshadowed by the fact that there's going to be a Bank of Canada overnight rate decision later today, and that's going to be at 5 o'clock South African time. That's an important number. We'll take a look at the CAN in just a moment. And then lastly, at 5:30 South Africa time, weekly oil inventories coming out. Now again, non-farm payrolls this week, and you need to transfer or roll over those CFDs that are expiring this month, so just be aware of it. But let's see what's been happening in the market. Well, this is really the heart of the trading sessions of the year because there's a lot of, rotation in the markets, and it's been very, very rocky, but it has been chock full of nuts of opportunities. So this is really where you gotta really be on top of things as things release themselves and produce themselves throughout the day. And sure enough, we got a breakout yesterday for the Euro USD here at 123.60, and we just flew by it, and then we just went up to 124.30. So that's a beautiful 70 pip move. If you were able to catch it, good for you. And there's follow through. Okay, so I don't like picking bottoms, but as you can see, there's the levels are being respected. As long as you're buying at the bottom of the range, you're selling at the top of the range, you're doing okay. And so I'd like to see that there's going to be some follow through here with the Euro USD as it continues. And what's faltering here is GBP USD, as you can see here, not rallying as sharply as the Euro. So clearly, we've said this several times, the Euro is your go-to for the long side against the dollar, and the GBP is your go-to for the short side of the dollar. So just be aware of it, that this is actually, coming to fruit as the situation, as the the trading session is progressing throughout this year and throughout this session. We're really seeing a very clear characteristics for these two symbols. Looking at the USD ZAR, we retraced yesterday down to 178, and this is really beautiful trading because this shows us that it's really trading within its range. Okay, developing a resistance at 12 is perfect because it's a roundup number, and the market likes roundup numbers. So with that said, we had a nice retracement here to 1178 from yesterday. The question is where we're going to go from here. We're trading right on the 30-day moving average. I think we'll be trading within this range unless we break this 1175-ish level. Okay, and then we'll test the waters again on these lower numbers, 1160-ish, 1150-ish level again. So that has to be seen. Aussie USD had a nice rally yesterday, and again traced against a little bit, sold off a little bit, but it's been kind of rocky. Okay, but I think that it's looking for a new trading range for it to be in, and I think that 0.77 30-ish level is a nice lower limit for it to be in, and the 78-ish, mid 78-ish is the higher limit for now. Okay, but we got to keep an eye on what's happening in the equities markets today, and we'll take a look at that in just a moment. But let's jump to oil with the inventories number coming out later today. We're sold off a little bit from 62.75 to 62.07. There's a little bit of a tug of war what's going on here in the markets, as you can see. I think that the markets are, the bears are fighting the bulls, and we're seeing a lot of rotation in a lot of the symbols that are on the system, and oil is a case in point. Okay, most of the oil producing companies, OPEC wants the prices higher, United States wants the prices lower, so it keeps inflation in check, and so on and so forth. So that's exactly what you're seeing, and what results in all that tug of war is a lot of volatility, and that's sure enough what we're getting here. So we're trading at 62.06. Let's see what the numbers come out with the inventory levels, and let's see how this unfolds later today. At this stage, it's trading within a range. Right now, we're in the middle of the range. Nothing to really pick it up right now, but there may be an opportunity later today if there is a breakout on either side. Let's jump to the USD CAD as this number is coming out later today. Now, we mentioned this earlier this week. We had a nice breakout of 128.90-ish level last week. We've retraced since then. Okay, so this is really, I would still say, respecting some of the resistance level at this 129.50-ish level. Okay, I'd like to see it continue going up if that does frustrate itself. Okay, because the price of oil is quite cheap and the economy in Canada is a little bit soft lately. So that might frustrate later today, but the Bank of Canada may react with some interest rate decision later today that's going to affect and strengthen the Canadian dollar. So just keep and be aware of it as that number comes out at 5 o'clock later today with that unfolding event. Now, looking at the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, it looks like a nice tug of war. Okay, we're at, close to our highs, not that far off from our highs. And every time we seem to be touching this 49,970-ish level or 50,000-ish level, we bounce off of it. Okay, so that's it's been kind of choppy. Okay, I think, after the ANC election that we had a couple of months ago, and the unfolding, result of that, I think, the markets are still optimistic, but we have to still see how that unfolds. Now, looking at the Dow, we have a big down open this morning after, 300 points up yesterday during 2 days ago, okay, that we had in the markets. Yesterday we were, unchanged during the day mostly, but this morning we had a gap down. So the question is it going to be a gap and go, or is it going to be fill in the gap? It looks like it wants to go lower. Okay, it wants to at least test the lower areas again, 23,300-ish level. So that's something you got to really be in it to win it. Okay, so you got to really see and follow through this as this unfolds throughout the week. Now remember, the NFP is coming out this week, so if the numbers are really positive, this may just, bounce and make itself back in 1,000 points in 2 days. And sure enough, we're back into, only off of our total highs, 1,000 points. So that's, marginal in respect to how far we've gone up for the past year and a half. So this is really something you got to follow, and you got to really read the tape and really understand what's going on, and follow some of the, to see if the momentum is selling off a little bit, or it's getting weaker, it's getting stronger, vis-a-vis some of the other currencies, to see how this is going to unfold. I really believe to put most of your time and effort into the Dow this week, because I think that that's where most of the money is going to be, and it has shown that. So the DAX we're looking at this morning, not really selling off a little bit here, so just keep an eye on that as well. And the Nikkei selling off quite sharply this morning. That might be what's carrying the Dow Jones further down. So keep an eye on this later today again on the Dow Jones. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.